to lose Declan was huge. Not only that, because he's a wee bit of a pin-up boy in England here. No, he's a really good player. He's a great lad. Everybody at the club loved him. But what we have to try and do is make sure that we improve the team. And I don't think we could improve Declan with one player. We've had to try and use the money wisely, see if we could get in 2 or 3 players to make the team better.
I realise, as a lifelong Everton fan, that to see David Moyes happy might be as close to happiness as I will ever get watching football again. So let's all just drink it in vicariously, with his team riding high, propelled by ebullient, clinical, collective performances and a large degree of vindication. There are few sights in football more humanly fulfilling than his bubble machine accompanied grin at the full-time whistle. And I just feel it all so profoundly and bloody elated for him. For a conversation about football happiness, perseverance and memory making, it's a delight to welcome back Saturdays are for the Moyes West Ham manager, Mr. David Moyes.
Hi, Roger.
David, first of all, congratulations, mate, on all you've achieved since we last spoke. Europa Conference League champions, London Stadium bouncing, your team pugnacious. And I want to go back to March this year. More challenging days. The English papers rampant with speculation you'd be sacked. But a mere 3 months later in Prague, Jared Bowen scores in the 90th minute. West Ham's first major trophy in over 40 years. You skipping down the sideline, arms outstretched, an ecstatic jig. What emotions did you experience in that moment? Was it joy, vindication, or relief?
Relief for winning the game. And getting a trophy after all these years. I mean, over 1,000 games, nearly 1,100 games coming up for him, getting told. The years of sort of putting in the hours and the work. So there was a bit of relief at the end of it, I have to say. But I've got to say, it was an unbelievable night, a night I'll never forget. And I was really fortunate that I had a team who got me a result.
First of all, your first trophy after 25 years of coaching. Does it feel like 25 years? Has it gone like that, or does it feel longer?
If you said to me at the moment how I feel, I think to be a Premier League manager, have the longevity of over 500, nearly 600 games in the Premier League as a manager. I don't know if you can put it just down to that being success, but for me, in a world now where it's we lose our job in this industry quite quickly, I think that's quite good success.
One of the most soulful human memories of the past year was watching you celebrate on the field post-game with your 87-year-old dad. What did you say to each other as you put that winner's medal over his neck? Take us there, David.
I saw my dad in the crowd. He was with my brother and my family over the other side, and I never thought for a minute. I thought, I'll bring my dad down, say hello to him, because I might not get to see him again. I'm thinking this is going to be a long night. I don't know if I'm going to meet him in the hotel. I don't know what's going to happen. I brought him down, and obviously, it was a great moment because, I think everybody to have success, you hope your parents can play a big part in your life, and mine have, and my dad has. He's still going to the football, which is great at his age, and then. I thought I'll put the medal around his neck and give him a chance, thinking that, my brother was taking a picture. I don't know, a lot of people who've got families will understand exactly what it means, and, they getting their mother or their father to support them through their life and their career.
I mean, it's the joy of football, ultimately, the memories that are made between fathers, mothers, sons and daughters, and to see you in that moment, it was truly profound. But you were able to enjoy it for mere minutes before the summer challenges began. Declan Rice left for Arsenal. And as a coach, how do you approach not only replacing such a dominant, talismanic player on the field, but also, I imagine, his leadership void that he must have left in that locker room? I've never personally had my heart ripped out of my chest, David, but I imagine at the time, his departure must have felt similar. How do you mentally approach that kind of blow?
Well, it was always going to be a huge blow, but we knew for probably a year or so. But being an Evertonian, you'll remember when I lost Wayne Rooney as a young player, I thought, my world's going to end here. How are we going to replace this?
And you were right.
But what we did do at Everton, we went on to get better. The team became stronger, and the team is more important than the one individual. So to lose Declan was huge. Not only that, because he's a wee bit of a pin-up boy in England here. He's one of the no, he's a really good player. He's a great lad. Everybody at the club loved him. But what we have to try and do is make sure that we improve the team. And I don't think we could improve Declan with one player. We've had to try and use the money wisely, see if we could get in 2 or 3 players to make the team better. And we've tried to do that. It's early days, but at the moment it's gone okay.
One player who joined your ranks this summer, that son of a barrister, James Ward-Prowse. Pep Guardiola once called him, quote, the best free kick taker in the world. You've seen him up close in training. Obviously, it's no secret Leighton Baines is the greatest free kick taker you've ever coached. But is JWP a solid number 2?
James Ward-Prowse is an incredible set-piece taker. I mean, part of the reason for bringing him was I could see value he would add to the team with his goals and his assists. And to be fair, over the last couple of years, we've been not a bad team, not a bad set-piece team. We scored quite a few goals from set pieces. And it's mainly because we've had people who want to go and head the ball and attack the ball. And our deliveries have been okay. In fact, they've been good. But if I could get the best delivering in town, then it means then that it gives me a great chance of getting more goals from set pieces and being a threat. And we have been. Kurt Zouma scored last week from a corner kick from James. Nathan Agard scored the week before against Chelsea, a couple of weeks before from a set piece from James. James got himself a goal against Brighton in last week. So I have to say he's got off to a brilliant start at the club, and he's certainly shown his worth at the moment.
Can we talk about the Brighton game? Roberto De Zerbi had that team on a tear. In the same fixture at the beginning of last season, I think you lost 2-0, which left you bottom of the table. But this campaign, your West Ham, they had just 22% possession, but you scored 3 goals from 7 shots on target. I've rarely witnessed such a spectacularly clinical performance. I watched it, I was like, that is David Moyes kind of football at its most potent. Did you draw particular satisfaction from that kind of win?
No, honestly, I want to have much more possession and I want to dominate the games much more. But let me tell you, I also want to score in the counter-attack. And I used a quote the other day which I heard was Jose Mourinho made a quote and saying that the opposition went away with 80% possession. I went home with 3 points. So there is something about scoring. There is something about winning. That's what the game's about. How you get your goals. It doesn't really matter.
Is there a special bottle of alcohol that's opened only after wins like that?
Hey, if you're lucky, you went into Sir Alex Ferguson's room when he was the manager. He had the best red wine, and you always get a great glass of red wine. But also, you very rarely won there. Maybe that might have been the reason you got the good stuff.
After a big win, what is David Moyes drinking?
Well, now with the driving, you very rarely, if we were driving home, you don't do that. But I would say that if I got a glass of nice red wine, I'd enjoy that. Sometimes after a game, it can be a beer. But it's a great part of the British management game where the managers would invite each other in for a quick drink after the game, and it's something which we hope we can continue. It's getting less and less because we have less British managers in the Premier League, but it's something we'd love to keep going.
Bring back the pints of white wine. When you look at your own career journey, that 25-year journey, what's the single most important quality that you see in yourself that's propelled it?
I work really hard at my job. I love the game. I'm resilient to a point where I think that, I want to, not that I'm out to prove MD wrong, but I'm out to prove, that I can do the job. I had 11 years at Everton, which were incredible years. I had years at Preston North End, then came to Everton. I moved to Manchester United where I had 10 months which didn't work well at all. I've had other jobs where it's not looked as if it's gone so well, but I always felt that I could do the job. I could be a football manager, and I thought that all the good years at Everton weren't a waste. It wasn't tell me that I was a bad manager. I needed to find the right home for myself and somewhere where would give me the opportunity to do that. And I have to say, West Ham have been brilliant. And where you started with 65,000 coming to the games, we're 3 years in a row in Europe now. We've won a cup. So I would hope that for West Ham supporters, it's been some of the best years they've had for a long, long time.
All you needed was the addition of the bubble machine, David, and it's just taking you to a whole next level. But final question for you. Tell us, West Ham, American fans tuning in, what is singular about David Moyes' West Ham? Why should they follow? And what can you promise those fans about this season ahead, David?
Well, the biggest thing what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be progressive. Even as one of the new managers, I want to be progressive. I want my team to improve. I want to keep myself challenging the top teams, and in doing that, if you do that, then you have to move with them. You have to find ways of beating them. You have to find ways of stopping them. You have to be continually working hard to do that. And there'll be a day it'll come when I decide that I'm not doing that anymore. But at the moment, I'm really loving my football. I've got new coaches in which help me and keep me young as well, which I need to do. We all need to do things, and sometimes there's people who can do jobs better than me, and I'm quite happy to delegate and give them those roles. But ultimately, I want to keep winning and want to try and keep challenging in the Premier League.
David, to you, to more winning, to more red wine victory glasses and bubbles of joy. Godspeed, mate.
Thank you.